Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we dig into a mountain of sources to pull out the insights you really need.
And today, we're tackling something that's really practical, but also deeply personal.
Yeah, we're doing a deep dive into how to comfort someone in English. And we're going way beyond the simple textbook phrases to get to what sounds genuinely warm and empathetic.
It's such a critical skill. I mean,
Mm,
you can have perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary, but if you try to comfort someone and it sounds cold or
yeah.
like you're giving orders,
Right.
then you're not communicating what you actually feel. You're
Mm.
trying to be empathetic, but it's just not landing.
And that's exactly why we're doing this, because we see it all the time.
Mm.
You take a phrase that's perfectly warm and supportive in your own language, you translate it directly, and in English it just sounds awkward.
Or cold, yeah.
It creates distance when you're trying to create a connection.
Exactly. So our goal for you today is to give you a shortcut, not just a list, but the cultural playbook for how English speakers really communicate when someone's having a hard time. We want you to sound naturally empathetic, not just, polite.
Okay, so let's get right into that cultural difference because it feels like this drives everything else we're going to talk about. This idea of shifting from fixing things to just feeling the emotion with them.
That is the absolute core of it. It's the number one thing that can trip people up. In many cultures, showing you care means taking immediate action. It means offering advice, solutions, a plan.
So your friend is struggling at work, and your first instinct is to say, okay, here's a three-step plan to fix this.
That comes from a really good place. It's meant to be helpful. But in English-speaking cultures, especially, say, American or British ones, that can backfire.
How so?
Well, because comforting usually starts with empathy first, with just listening. The priority is to show the other person, I understand how you feel, before you even think about solutions.
So if you jump straight to the fix, straight to the, well, have you tried?
It can accidentally suggest a couple of things.
Yeah.
One, that their problem is simple, which kind of minimizes their pain.
Right.
And two, it can sort of imply that their feelings right now aren't as important as your advice. The problem-solving part. That comes much later, usually only if they ask for it.
Okay, so that's the big takeaway for this whole deep dive then. When someone tells you about a problem, your first job isn't to solve it. It's to acknowledge the emotion.
You've got it. That's how you build that trust and connection first.
So let's get into the tools. What are those foundational phrases that do that work for you?
Okay, the first one is the absolute classic.
The one you can always fall back on if you're panicking and don't know what to say.
Yes. It's simply, sorry to hear that.
And it's so important to clarify what this means, right? Because it's not an apology.
Not at all. You're not saying you caused the problem.
Right.
It's more like a formula. It's a linguistic handshake that just says, I acknowledge that a bad thing happened, and I have sympathy for you. It's safe, it's simple, it works everywhere.
And native speakers almost never just say that one thing. We tend to stack it with something else. Like, I'm sorry to hear that. That must be really tough. That little addition immediately adds so much depth.
It does. And that brings us right to the next phrase, which is just so powerful in its simplicity. That sounds really hard.
I love this one because it's so neutral. You don't have to understand all the details of the problem. You're validating the difficulty of it. It's not judgmental. It's not intrusive. It just says, I'm listening.
And you're confirming their experience. You're saying what you're going through is valid. And honestly, sometimes that is all a person needs to hear in that moment.
Okay, now let's do a little bit of a deeper dive on this next one because it's a structure that native speakers use all the time. Is that phrase that starts with, that must be.
Yes. Like that must be so frustrating or that must be disappointing. The key here is that word must.
Right, because it's not just a random guess about how they're feeling.
Exactly. In English, must is often used for like a logical conclusion. So when you say that must be stressful, you're saying based on the facts you've given me, you lost the client, you failed the exam, the only logical human reaction is stress.
Ah, okay, so you're framing their feeling as the correct, rational response to the situation.
Precisely. You're creating this shared emotional reality. It sounds so caring because you're showing you understand them almost on a logical level. It connects the dots for them.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so we've acknowledged the feeling. Now, how do we move into showing active support, but without, taking over?
This is where we need phrases that offer support, but also, and this is crucial, respect their autonomy.
And the first one is just so simple and powerful, just 4 words. I'm here for you.
It's short, but it carries a lot of weight. It means more than just, I'm physically here. It's an offer of your time, your emotional energy. It means you're willing to listen, to help, to just be present with them.
I think the next one is maybe even more important culturally, and that's, if you want to talk about it, I'm here.
Oh, this is absolutely critical. But the most important words in that sentence are, if you want.
The choice.
You're giving them the choice. You're opening the door, but you're not forcing them to walk through it. You're saying, you don't owe me any details, but my support is here if you decide you need it. It shows a huge amount of respect for their privacy.
Yeah, which is the total opposite of that fix-it culture where you might demand the details so you can start solving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's one more for when things are a bit more serious. When someone feels really isolated.
You're not alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
It directly counters that feeling of no one on earth could possibly understand what I'm going through. It's a simple, powerful statement of solidarity.
These phrases really lead us into validating someone's feelings, especially when they're truly heartbroken or dealing with a loss. This is where patience becomes so important.
Absolutely. Which brings us to phrase number 7. Take your time.
I love this one. It's like you're giving them permission to grieve or feel bad on their own schedule. There's no pressure to, be strong or get over it.
Exactly. You're giving them space, which is so valuable. And that leads to maybe the ultimate validation phrase, number 8. It's okay to feel this way.
This one is just so comforting.
It's incredibly comforting because you're directly telling them that their emotional reaction, whether it's anger, sadness, frustration, is normal and acceptable. You're not judging it. You're allowing it. And that direct validation is really the heart of English-style empathy.
Okay, so we have 8 really positive, powerful phrases, but we have to talk about the flip side. We need a huge warning sign around the phrases that you should just, never say.
Yes. This is so important because these are the phrases people often use thinking they're being helpful, but they do so much damage.
We're talking about that toxic trio, right? Don't worry, it's not a big deal. And my personal favorite, just be positive.
Ugh, yes. Let's break down why they're so bad. When you tell someone who is clearly in pain, it's not a big deal.
You're basically telling them their feelings are wrong.
You are. You're telling them they're overreacting. The intent might be to make them feel better, but the effect is that you minimize their entire experience. It's incredibly invalidating.
I'm even guilty of the just be positive one. I remember a colleague whose project just completely fell apart, and I said something like, hey, on the bright side, you learned a lot.
Oof, how did that go over?
Not well. Not well at all. I got this look that just said, you are so out of touch right now. He wasn't ready for a silver lining. He was in the middle of feeling bad.
And that's the key. My attempt to fix his mindset felt like I was ignoring the reality of his situation.
That's the perfect way to put it. These phrases skip validation and go straight to dismissal. Don't tell someone how to feel. Just support them in how they are feeling right now.
That's a deep dive right there. Empathy is about confirming the reality of their pain, not giving them a map to get out of it.
Right. Okay, so let's put this all into practice. How does this look in different situations, like at work versus with a friend?
Great idea. The language does need to shift a bit. In a professional setting, you want to be supportive, but also maintain, some boundaries.
You're not going to get overly emotional.
Probably not. So you can stick to that logical, deductive structure we talked about. Something like, that sounds really frustrating. I hope things get better soon.
That's good. Frustrating is a nice professional word, and I hope is supportive without being too committal.
Exactly. Now contrast that with a close friend. You can be much more direct and personal.
Yeah, you can lean into that I'm here for you idea.
You might say something like, I know it's been so rough lately. I'm here if you need anything at all. You're showing that you remember their ongoing struggle, which shows real care.
And what about for, a text message? So much of this happens over text now.
For texts, simple is often best. You want something warm that doesn't demand a long reply.
Thinking of you.
Thinking of you is perfect. Or sending you support. They're small gestures, but they say, I'm with you, without adding pressure.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Let's do a practice run.
Love it. Okay, here's the scenario. Your friend texts you, I failed my interview for the promotion I really wanted. I'm completely crushed.
Ouch. That's a tough one. Okay, so my first instinct, using what we've talked about, I'd lead with the foundation and add that must be phrase. Something like, oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. That must feel incredibly disappointing after all that work.
Perfect. Empathy first, then logical validation of the feeling. What's another option?
Okay, another option could focus more on reassurance. Maybe, wow, that sounds awful. Just remember, this one interview doesn't define you. I know you did your best, and I'm here for you whenever you're ready to talk.
Great. And notice what's missing from both of your excellent responses.
Advice.
No advice.
Neither of us said, well, you should apply for this other job, or next time, you need to practice more.
None of that. Because if they want advice, they will ask for it. Until then, our job isn't to fix, it's to support. Comforting is just. It's just presence and validation.
That's such a powerful way to frame it. So really, comforting someone well in English isn't about perfect grammar. It's about your tone, your empathy, and choosing these gentle validator words over an immediate solution.
Exactly. We've given you a lot of tools today. My advice would be to just pick one or two of these phrases and really try to use them this week. Get comfortable with validation as your first response.
And as you think about this deep dive, here's a final thought to leave you with. We've talked about this as an English communication skill, but how might focusing on validation instead of solutions change the conversations you have in your own native language, too?
It's a powerful idea. Empathy is universal, even if the language we use for it is different. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.